Hey guys, my name is Miska and welcome to Overwatch Central. So Jeff Kaplan has actually been on Reddit recently, I know, shocker. And this time around he's actually doing a big AMA. Well, he did one at least just last night, when an AMA request for Jeff Kaplan popped up on Reddit. Normally these AMA requests mean that the person will eventually do an AMA and sort of announce it up ahead of time, but Jeff sort of just did it impromptu on the spot. And it was pretty good actually, lots of really interesting stuff in there. I've picked a bunch of answers, the best answers in my opinion, as some of the questions have sort of been asked before, and some of the questions were more specific to game developing in general and that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd put together the news and the sort of scoop for us that just want the Overwatch news out of this. Anyway, I would like to start off with this answer from Jeff when asked about how much time he spends on Reddit. This is sort of to give you guys a better idea of how Jeff Kaplan looks at Reddit and other sites and so on. So he says, I read this subreddit all day long, on and off, from when I take my dogs out in the morning till when I take them out at night. I also check r/competitive Overwatch, Overwatch University, and r/imaginary Overwatch. I also like sites like Master Overwatch, Overbuff, Oversumo, etc. I just wish we could provide them with more complete stats, as I think their data is skewed by the high-end players who are more likely to frequent those sites. They're still fun to read and look at though. And it's no secret that the developers are on these subreddits a fair bit, but it's nice to see that Jeff Kaplan keeps an eye on these stat sites as well, as I would also love to see better stats provided from Blizzard's backend to them so they can just improve and get even better. There was a post very early on with Jeff Kaplan answering a bunch of questions in just one comment basically, and I picked out this question in particular and this answer in particular from that big comment, since I thought it was kind of funny and interesting. And a lot of the other questions had been answered before as well. So the question was, who is your favorite hero? Kaplan answered, this is going to sound canned, but I fall in love with a different hero each week. I think that's one of my favorite parts about Overwatch. So he says it doesn't really main a hero and so on, but he then goes on to say, also, every time Hanamura comes up, I will only play Hanzo on defense, because roleplay. Beat me on the porch, Genji. And I really like this answer because it's kind of funny that Hanzo is just such a strong character in the community, you know, people feeling very strongly about Hanzo mains and so on. But just the fact that Jeff Kaplan is so engaged in the Overwatch world as well, and just really liking the lore himself. Anyway, after I've discovered that Jeff Kaplan does play a fair bit of Hanzo, let's move on to the next question. This topic has been discussed before, but Jeff was asked about heroes that have gone through most changes. So, gone through the most changes over the course of the beta and just the development process back in alpha basically. And some of you would already know that Bastion is the answer here, but this post here listed a few more ultimates Bastion used to have that we haven't really spoken about before. So I thought I'd grab this post and just read it to you real quick. We used to tease that Bastion had the ultimate of the week. He had grenades, he had a remote mine, he could shoot through walls. Yes, Bastion could shoot through walls. He had an artillery volley, we just never could get it right. We were really pleased with the tank though, transforming into another form really fits the character. It was way more work than any of the other abilities, but it was worth it. And this is really interesting to me because Bastion just shooting through walls seems like a crazy idea, even if you don't really know what to make for an ultimate. But yeah, I do like this sort of inside knowledge about the development process. It's really interesting to read about, so I appreciate Kaplan sharing this. Next up, Kaplan was simply asked, what do you think of Dinoflask? For those of you that don't know, Dinoflask is the person creating those remix developer updates. I'm sure you've seen him on Reddit or just on YouTube. But yeah, anyway, Kaplan just says, he's super talented. The videos are hilarious. Obviously, I feel embarrassed when I see them. I mean, I am this middle-aged awkward nerd with 0 points in charisma and really don't belong on camera in any way, shape or form. But if I look at the videos objectively, like if they were of anyone but me, they are hilarious. I always say that Dinoflask say what I wish I could really say. And this is really funny to me that he sort of acknowledges this. A lot of people have been wondering if the dev team do watch these developer updates, and apparently it seems like they do. But I have to say that I think Jeff is still a decent speaker and so on. These developer updates are just in one take basically, and on top of that, just speaking at events, there are a lot of just funny and witty comments here and there from Jeff. But yeah, anyway, that's his thoughts on this topic. Moving on, we have a series of questions really that I've sort of bundled together. Kaplan was asked about a few things, but mostly in this comment about how the stats Blizzard have on Overwatch on their backend affects development. So Jeff talks about Icon Wall to begin with, and how those stats warranted a change, and that hero pick rates are really tricky to work with stats-wise. They're trying some stuff out with Lucio, since they feel like a lot of people label him as a must pick. They're still gonna see if those changes actually make it to the PTR though. But that's very interesting, there might be actually a bigger Lucio rework behind that, seems very plausible. But yeah, anyway, he also goes on to say one tricky thing is that the player perception of a must pick doesn't match the actual behavior. I sometimes look at the hero pick stats and they clearly don't match the hero meta report stats. He then goes on to talk about hero pick rates at different ranks and what he should really be thinking about, and it's kind of hard to just pick one type of rank and just say, hey, these hero pick rates are the ones we should be balancing the game around. And yeah, I totally understand it. It's really hard to balance a game like Overwatch. and it's easy to think, as someone who just plays the game, that it is a lot easier than it actually is. Anyway, speaking of icon vault a little bit in this post, reminded me of this paragraph from a post answering a completely different question, but apparently icon vault is getting some more changes soon. This is what Jeff said about it. So, for example, we tried to keep all maps balanced as closely to a 50-50 win rate as possible. Icon vault has never achieved 50-50, but players love the map. We made changes to the door, and we have one more round of changes coming to the first choke, and these are largely driven by the stats showing us the imbalance. But left to our own feelings, we love the map and feel like it's one of our best. And I definitely agree with this overall. Icon vault is a very interesting map, especially the second phase of the map before the gate. But wow, changes to the first choke is gonna be huge for the map in itself, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what this could be. But it's nice to see that Jeff Kaplan can sort of announce this sort of stuff on Reddit rather than just the Blizzard forums themselves. But overall, yeah, I'm excited for this. I hope you are too. Hopefully it's gonna be really good and fun to play. Moving on, the game director answered questions about ranked rewards. Jeff says, "We've been discussing it. We have some cool ideas, but I am torn. Part of me thinks it's a big mistake putting more rewards into competitive play. I really think the people playing in that system should be there because they care about competitive competition. I am nervous about attracting people to the system with too many rewards." This is a topic we recently discussed on this channel. Ryan and I talk about it a fair bit, and I feel like Jeff makes a fair point here, to be honest. Anyway, I won't drag on for too long, but I feel like this is really worth highlighting, and a lot of people have been asking about it, so I wanted to include it here. But let's move along to the next question. So this one is a short one, but Jeff was asked if we'd ever be able to gift loot boxes to each other, to which Jeff just said, "Working on it." This isn't much, but I thought it was worth including as well. Just sort of smaller new features coming to the game soon, TM, right? Anyway, Mr. Kaplan also got asked about legendary skins for McCree, and earlier in the AMA also about Widowmaker. He responds with the following comment: "Soon, this spring. Same with Widow, you will want these." And this is really promising to me. Now, if McCree and Widowmaker are getting new skins, I doubt it's just a small update. It's probably a bigger event coming fairly soon, I guess. I mean, Orisa was released very recently, so maybe it'll be another month or two at least. I'm guessing about 2 months, but yeah, that's looking pretty good as well. Alright, and that's it. These are just some of the comments we thought brought new and interesting stuff to the table, but if you want to read more behind the scenes questions about the game developing and just Jeff Kaplan's history at Blizzard, I highly suggest you go and read the full AMA. I'll link Jeff Kaplan's Reddit user profile in the description below, so you can get all the answers there. He also signs off saying that he'd like to get more devs on for AMAs, which I think we all would really love to see. Alright, that's been it for this time though. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it, and make sure to subscribe for more Overwatch content. But until next time, take care, and we'll see you then.